That's right, it's your boy, the original Memzee, aka the DJ you can trust. We're live right here at BBC Radio 1, Xtra. Gonna go and see my brother Charlie Sloth to talk about his brand new album, The Plug. We're gonna get into the ins and outs of the album, which drops Friday the 18th of August on all social platforms. It's gonna be a crazy madness. We're gonna get into the world of Charlie Sloth with the DJ you can trust.
One Xtra.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to an exclusive, world exclusive with your boy, the original Memzee. We're live right here on Urban History X. I'm with, I can say, Foundation. I'm here with a producer, an artist, radio DJ, club DJ, presenter, father. Going to be bringing out one of the hottest UK albums on Friday the 18th of August. It's Charlie Sloth.
Mad thing, my brother Memzee.
Charlie, let's go straight into this exclusive interview right now. The Plug, what's the meaning of The Plug?
So for years, you know, like anytime somebody introduced me to somebody or anytime somebody hollers at me, they've always referred to me as The Plug. Like, you know, like if someone's introducing me to an artist or to a manager or to another DJ, like, yo, this is Charlie, it's The Plug. And, you know, I was like, rah, a lot of people look at me and class me as the plug, the person that plugs people in, whether it be in business, whether it be with relationships, just the guy that can be that bridge, that conduit to help bring things together. And when I was making the album, it became very clear that I kind of was that guy, without sounding like an egotistical dickhead. I was that guy that helped conduit a lot of situations and a lot of relationships. So I thought it was only right, especially with the premise of the album. You know, there's artists from Jamaica, America, Africa, the UK, and I've kind of put them all together into this melting pot and like made this fusion of sounds that I felt warranted me giving it the title of The Plug.
The album, was it all Charlie Sloth production?
All 22 records were produced by me. We actually cut 56 records for the album.
Wow.
And we had to get it down to 22, and that was the most challenging thing, getting the record from 56 to 22. And like some of my favourite records didn't actually make it onto this album, and that was because I just wanted the album to have a very unique sound to it. I wanted every record to sound different from each other. There's not two records that sound the same, and that was a massive task for me to make it sound like that, especially for my first album, my debut album. I wanted to show how diverse I am musically, and especially in terms of production. There's loads of records that I produced on loads of people's albums that people don't even know that I produced, like big albums. I've got a record on the Last Gigs out, the Landlord album, you know, and I've got records produced on bare albums around the world that people don't even know that I produced. So when it comes to making my album where it was my name above the door, I had to make sure that it really represented who I am.
What kind of artists didn't make the album?
There's loads. There's like household names that didn't make it on this album. Them records will be used for another album, without a shadow of a doubt. Like my second album's done. Like
wow.
It's in the can, it's finished, it's done. And I'll drop that early next year. So the records haven't gone to waste. And you know, I called them and I explained the situation, and they was all very understanding that, you know, this is like a puzzle, and putting the puzzle together sometimes means that there's pieces that don't fit into this part of the puzzle. It doesn't mean that the piece is no good. It means it just goes into the other part of the puzzle. Like, this is like, I'm not trying to build one picture, I'm trying to create 50. So one piece might not fit in this, but it's going to fit in another. And I'm lucky enough to have relationships with a lot of the guys that I work with, where they understand that, yo, like,
you can't make it on this album, but
it's on the next one.
It's the next album.
Yeah.
So will it be called The Plug 2?
Nah, I've already got the title for the next album.
Exclusive?
You know what, I've not told anyone this, but because it's Memzee, I'm going to tell you.
That.
So the next album is called Lifestyle.
Let me live,
Nobody
baby.
knows that. It's called Lifestyle.
Lifestyle.
Yeah.
Let's go back to the album. Who's featured on this album? The body of work drops on Friday, the 18th of August.
Yeah.
It's going to be out in all digital stores, everywhere. Who's on the album?
I mean, everyone. Giggs, Stormzy, Potter, Bugsy Malone, Young T, Bugsy, 21 Savage, Alameda, Lil Kesh, Notes, Mike Righteous, Avelino, Lady Leshurr, Sean Kingston, Spice, Deneo, Conscience, Ghetts, Abracadabra, Fredo, Western. I mean, the list is pretty intense.
It's going to be crazy. So, let's go back into the world of Charlie. When you just stated like you're the plug for the UK or just in general, how do you find the scene at the moment? Do you think the UK scene is in a healthy position right now?
I think the UK scene is healthier than it's ever been, and that's because people have finally understood the power of ownership over here. It's not about building something and then letting someone else take what you've built. You know, like for years, everyone was chasing that major label deal, trying to get that advance money. But with that came no ownership. And it came to light 7 years ago at a time when, you know, you had your like N-Dubs, your Chip, Tinchy Strider, Pro Green, Tiny, Ironics, all these guys that was having huge commercial success, but were signed to major labels. So then what happened is all the major labels, they invested loads of money into the scene. They ended up signing 93 acts to major labels, of which only 5 of them were successful. So that means all that money got invested into the scene, but the moment they saw there was no return, they pulled all the money. And because they pulled all the money, that meant radio stopped supporting the scene. That meant that like clubs weren't really supporting the scene, and that meant there was no ownership, there was no foundation, so they pulled everything away. And when that happened, it almost reset all the hard work that all these artists had put in. And then I think a lot of artists, you know, like people like Skep, Giggs, Storms, Bugsy Malone, all these guys understood the power of ownership. They own everything now. Labels can't come in and dictate what records they put out, how much they spend, because these guys own everything. And you know, you've got Bizzle, all these people that have created businesses because of the lifestyle, they own everything. Labels don't own nothing no more. And now labels, they're starting to just try and throw silly checks to try and get back in. And even the silly checks they're throwing don't mean they own anything, they're just buying a piece of it. But you can't take it no more. You can't take away everything that all these incredible artists have built, because now they own it.
Can we expect the Charlie Sloth label?
I've got a label. I'm signed to myself. I got a lot of artists that are signed to my label as well. I don't really talk about it too much, but you know, a lot of artists that I've seen great success over the last few years have come via my label. And you know, like when I put the label together, it was never for financial gain.
Just for yourself.
It was to almost, you know, school a lot of these cats. Like a lot of the cats that I've signed have gone on to create their own labels. Like, I've always given very fair deals. I'm not about trying to, you know, be a vulture culture. Do you know what I mean? Culture. I'm not about that. So, yeah, like for me, it's all about progression and evolution, bro.
Well, let's talk about the new generation. As a DJs and presenters ourselves, like being on the BBC frequency and, you know, holding it down for the BBC, like what kind of advice could you give up and coming UK artists? Like how can they get onto Charlie Sloth's platform?
Consistency and hard work, man. Like consistency and content are king.
Okay.
Now, if you think you've made it because you put a record out there, had 1 million views, they ain't gonna cut it, because pretty much anyone can do that now. It's not hard work. You can fabricate it as well, but can you do that consistently? Can you do that for 6 months? Can you put out 5 records in 6 months and each record be a progression within each record? Yeah, if you can do that, I'm paying attention. You know, like there's so many artists out there now. There's so much digital noise. There's so many people. Everyone wants to be a rapper. Everyone wants to be a producer or a singer. Like people think it's a quick buck. It's not a quick buck. Like even some of the people you think of it, they ain't rich. They're still living at home with their mum and dad. Do you know what I mean? This is the entertainment industry. So when people come in here and think, yo, like I'm gonna come in here trying to change my life, of course that's the dream.
It's a dream.
That's the dream. But with that dream comes a lot of hard work. Like you see your favourite artists, like you look at someone like Giggs or Bugsy Malone, they're not at home much. They don't get to see their family much. these guys are working every day, crazy hours, and they reap the rewards because of it. But without that hard work, that consistency, it ain't nothing.
Let's go back to you. How did you find it as an artist when you first came into the game, and how did it start for Charlie? I've never asked you that. How did it all start for you as an artist? Because back in, I think it was back in 2007, 2006, when I was on my other radio station, like, you were sending me records and I was supporting you, and I knew Charlie from like Camden and artists. And how did it all escalate there for you?
Like, I've got to say, like, Memzee's always shown me love, and that's why I've always got mad love for you, bro. From way back when I was a kid, out here just trying to get on. Like, it started for me when I was 13. I'm from Camden, and I started as a DJ on Raw FM. I used to DJ on Pirate Radio. I've done Raw FM every Sunday night, and then from there I started wanting to MC, because DJs never got no love. It was the MCs that was getting all the love, and I was like, I want some of that love. Yeah. So I just started trying to MC. I wrote a few records and produced all the records, and it got to the stage where I was kind of like, yo, like, I just love music. Like, DJ was my first love. DJing was my first love. Production was my second. Rapping was my third. And I just wanted to be involved in the scene to whatever capacity possible. This was my life. The lifestyle was the life I lived, the life I chose, and whatever I had to do to be involved in it, I was willing to do. And you know, I went on from being a DJ to a producer to an artist to creating Being Charlie Sloth. Once I made Being Charlie Sloth, that changed my life. And again, that was, you know, me thinking outside the box. I was, at the time, everyone was doing vlogs, everyone was doing like video blogs, and I was like, I don't want to do that. Like, that's just dead. You know what I mean? So I come up with Being Charlie Sloth, like, was creative with the idea, and then once I had the idea, it was about the hard work and the consistency. I delivered 56 episodes of Being Charlie Sloth every Monday for 56 weeks, not earning no money. And got picked up by World Star, went crazy in America, it blew me up in the States. And like, I built relationships with a lot of the big American artists. I signed a massive deal in America. I was going to move to America, and then the opportunity from the BBC arose. And it was like a crossroad in my life. Do I stay in the States?
Or stay at home?
Or stay at home. And like, DJing was my main passion. And the moment I was given an opportunity to have a platform to showcase all these artists who were my friends and who I cared about and whose music I really believed in, it was a no-brainer. And then from there I joined the BBC, and like, the rest is history. You know, like, I walked in the door and I was like, the moment I walked in the door, I went into the studio to see Tim. I'm like, bro, I'm coming for your job. And then I sat down with the bosses, told them the same thing. And then within 3 years, I'd replaced Tim on all of his shows. Like, God bless him, an incredible DJ and broadcaster and icon, someone who I look up to. But, you know, I'm just a very driven and motivated character. And the moment I have a vision, I have to fulfill it.
I love that. Album comes out Friday the 18th of August. The Plug, Charlie Sloth. Thank you very much. And I'm telling you now, don't get the CD and give it to your friend. Download it. Buy the album. It's UK music. That's what we believe in. Thank you.
Memzee, my brother from day. My love, brother. Thank you for your time, bro.
Keep it locked. And make sure you follow Charlie Sloth on all social networks. Follow the radio shows as well. BBC, One Extra, each and every Monday to Friday, 4 till 7. It's Charlie Sloth, The Plug.
Bye.
Yes, it's here. My brand new album, Charlie Sloth, The Plug. Featuring Ghetts, Wake Up,
Get Shaker, Spend with Seattle Gold, that's a new Jacob.
Bugs You Alone, Fame Game.
I ain't got followers too, so I don't watch your
Scumbag, man, are calling me holiday. Wherever they send comes back with a suntan. Ghetts and Abracadabra, we're running. And they talking to stone like the hunchback. Young T and Bugsy, no pictures.
Please, whole squad full of bad.
Plus many, many more. Pre-order now.